I know we were talking earlier about just encouraging other women, that are moms or that have a dream or they feel like there's something there, but then they feel like it might be too hard or they're too old or their kids are too little or whatever the reason. Like, I'm all about like jump in, do the thing, and do it with intention and also making that balance for yourself because I'm actually living that right now. Jewelry I thought was a hobby now is turning into so much more, and I never imagined this would happen. So, you just never know.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Lauren Lucas. I'm obsessed with learning and I live for true, authentic connection. I'm a wife, a working mom, professional singer-songwriter, and an instructor of songwriting at my alma mater, Belmont University. You could say that life's a little full. I'm always looking for a way to sneak in some me time with great friends, good food, and meaningful conversation. Here we talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the hard, and the wonderful. My guests include well-known recording artists, hit songwriters, film directors, wellness coaches, and creative entrepreneurs. Plus, we throw in a delicious beverage, an easy weekend recipe. Think of it like happy hour, but better. I'm Lauren Lucas. This is the Happiest Hour.
It's the happiest hour when I'm with you. It's the happiest hour. Let's raise our glasses to doing this crazy life together. Keeping it real can't get much better. As long as I'm with you, it's the happiest hour.
Oh, a quick PS. My plan is to bring you a full season of the Happiest Hour. But let's be honest, as a busy working toddler mom, work-life balance, at least for me, can be a challenge sometimes. So I might skip a week here and there. Here's what that means. No matter how you enjoy the Happiest Hour, whether it's through the YouTube live video or through your favorite podcast app, make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for the latest episode. That way, you won't miss a thing. Today, my guest is Cyndi Thomson. You know Cyndi from her #1 hit single, What I Really Meant to Say, and gold record with My World, such an iconic album for so many of us. She is a superstar small business owner with her custom jewelry business, Haybelle Co. And you have seen her gorgeous pieces on superstars like Lizzo, Natalie Hemby, Alaina, just to name a few. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here's Cyndi Thomson. Cheers, Cyndi Thomson.
Cheers.
Thank you for being here and being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yum.
So tell us, how did you're from Georgia.
Yes.
Southern girl. Same
Yes.
here. Well, I'm South Carolina, neighboring Southern girls. How did you find your way to Nashville?
Well, when I was a little girl, probably around the age of 12, I was like, I think I want to be a country music singer. I'd been in the band. The choir teacher pulled me out of band class. She'd heard I could sing from someone at church. And I was like, no, I don't know if I can sing. And so she kind of set that whole thought in motion. And as I got through high school and did show choir and things like that, I was like, well, maybe I'll go to Nashville. I'd gone and visited one summer when I got a scholarship for school to, come and see the Opry and maybe, come spend a summer with a producer that was here. And so we did that. And I don't know, it was still very much alive in my spirit. Like, I got to get there. So, but I followed a boy to college. He was really cute. He was a baseball player.
Okay.
In Atlanta. I went to Kennesaw State University for just a year.
Oh my goodness, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and I was watching him play one day, and he was being scouted by scouts. And I was like, who's scouting me for music? Nobody. I got to go. If I'm going to do this, I have to go. So I made a plan with my parents and applied to Belmont just as a safety net. And my parents sold a car, and my daddy took some money out of his retirement to pay for the first year, and I came to Nashville.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So I'm a Belmont alum as well. And
I'm a Belmont dropout.
Hey, there are a lot of those as well that have done some really great things. So, we're going to talk about a lot of things that you're doing right now. You have this great entrepreneurial spirit. You've started your own business. We're going to get there. Before we do, we have to talk about your first record, because for young girls like me, and we're around the same age, so it's not we're around the same age, but I remember because we were around the same age, you were doing this thing that I wanted to do, and your record, My World, was so it's such an iconic record, and not just to me. I mean, I just mentioned to you, before we started, that our mutual friend Jamie, feels the same way. We were talking about it the other day, and I mean, do you understand the gravity of that record, and like that we feel that way? Like, do you understand how iconic that music is to people?
I I know that it meant something to me. It was my world, and I wanted to tell those stories. And when I hear that from you, and Jamie's so precious, but like, no, I don't think I think about it. I think it doesn't mean that I don't look at that season of my life as the dream that came true. That I just still to this day, when I pass my gold record in the hallway, I'm like, I never don't think I'm so grateful for that. And that I got to tell my stories as a songwriter. But no, I don't. When I hear it, I'm always so overwhelmed, and just it fills me up, because I think originally, and still to this day, but your heart is, when you make a record, that you want it to impact people's life, that it has something to say, that it have intention and purpose. And so I love hearing it, because it's what that's what you make music for, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well done, because it really is like preparing for this interview, I listened to it again, and it holds up, just sonically, thanks. And the stories. I mean, it's so thank you for making that music.
Thank you.
It really has impacted a lot of people, me included. So where does music fit in your life now?
Well, for so long, I just don't think it ever leaves you, that when you want to, I don't know, you have this thing in you to sing. It never goes away. It's always there and lingers, whether I'm in the car singing along with the radio, or I still write from time to time. And over the past, I would say about 5 years, I've knocked at the door of it. Just what would it look like to make music again? And some things have, I've had some interesting meetings and conversations, but I think it looks like I've always known I was going to make another record. I just have always known that, just not what it looks like. And so I think I'm on the threshold of starting to strategize about what it would look like. Okay. So
great.
We'll see.
Okay. So expect more music at some point.
Yes.
That's awesome.
For sure.
Yay. Well, that's awesome.
Thanks.
So you have pivoted into a new business, to starting your own business. What has life looked like between getting off the road full time as a touring and recording artist, and starting your custom jewelry business, which is what you're doing now? I mean, you're a wife, you're a mom. What has life looked like between those years for you?
Well, as soon as I stepped away from music, I had to do a lot of resting and searching, and I think there needed to be a season of peeling back stuff that, I don't know, to get deeper, to find myself again. I was so lost, and I love doing music, but it was just time for me to step away. I can't describe it to anybody. I mean, it was something that needed to happen. And so in that season, I was able to become a mom and stay at home with them. And my dream had always been to be a mama and to be a wife. And so there was a lot of, you know what it's like. You have a toddler.
Oh, yeah.
You're very busy. It was a dream come true for me. I have a daughter named Bella who's 17 now.
That's
and
crazy.
I know. And then Hayden, who is 13. So I am a mom in that season, and I still wrote from time to time, and but literally just kind of hibernated in Franklin and became a housewife and a volunteer and a mommy and all the things. And so in the process of that, I think after I started Haybelle, the jewelry company, about 3 years ago, I'd been kind of thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I know there's more. I know I'm going to make music at some point. I'm not forcing that. And I just remember going to the beach one August with my family, and I took this book that I love. It's a devotional book, but I hadn't looked at it in years. It's called The Prayer of Jabez. And Jabez in the Bible prayed this prayer about, God, increase my territory, just enlarge my space. Show me my land. Where, what do you have for me, kind of prayer. And I thought, I'll pull that book off the shelf to take with me. And it's funny because my mom gave that to me when I became an artist. And so I would read it all the time. And I had not picked it up in 20 years. So I'm sitting on the beach reading this book, which I love. It's a very quick read. It's really great. And a couple nights later, we're down in Seaside, and I see these earrings in this store that was packed with clothes and people. And it was just a busy night. And I don't know what compelled me, but I looked at them and I was like, I'm going to start making jewelry. And I looked at my husband and I said that, and he goes, okay. In the chaos of the store and kids running around. And I do attribute it to that book in a way, because what it did was it threw some kindling on a fire in me that, yes, I love being a mom and I love being a wife, and I love, the life we live, where I'm carpooling and all the things that you do as a mom and a wife and a friend and a daughter, all the things. You're just living a normal life. But deep inside, there was just this hunger. So when I came home from the beach, I just started going to antique stores, and I thought this is going to be a hobby. But within 2 weeks, it was on the red carpet at the CMA Awards, which is interesting because that was the world that I had been in so many years ago.
And what artist wore them?
Hannah
pieces
Mooney,
okay.
Shay Mooney's wife, from Dan and Shay. Yes. So she called, and I went to her house, and I took all the jewelry that I had. And most of what I do is I use a lot of gold and raw brass and silver together, so that you never have to choose what metal that you're going to wear.
I love that. Yeah.
It was always an issue with me. And so I was like, I'm going to always put all the things together. And I took her all these pieces, and she only wanted silver. And so I was like, I will do this for you. And so in a panic, I rush home and I start trying to find antique stars, and because everything I work with is antique or vintage, and then I repurpose it. I make it into something new.
And it has that. I mean, you're wearing your pieces now, which I'm so glad, because they're beautiful. And when you look on Instagram, is where I follow Haybelle and you, and it's like there is this beautiful antique feel to it, and like even Art Deco. Some of the pieces look even a little Art Deco, but then this really modern spin on it. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. I love doing it. I don't know where this came from, because even as an artist, I would only wear like earrings, and I never wore necklaces. I didn't really love jewelry, and I'm not a big jewelry owner. I don't have a lot. And so to do this, now I wear it all the time. And I always tell people it really fell from the sky. It was very divine, and I just started running with it. And so for me, what it's done is, yes, we were talking earlier about wearing all the hats that we wear. But this has just opened up this part of me that I feel like I knew I had, that entrepreneurial kind of spirit, but I'd forgotten about it. And at my age, we get so busy with all the things that we have to do that by the end of the day, we're so depleted that we're like, what am I doing with my life? Or there's got to be more. And it doesn't mean I'm not happy with my children or my marriage or all the things that we do. It's just, I knew there was something else. And yes, it will be music, but this was just fascinating to me, that I had a passion, an understanding. I woke up every morning just wanting to run and research and learn and buy jewelry, like just antique pieces that I could, make into something new. And so it just started taking off, and I knew I had to follow that.
Yes.
I couldn't push that away, and I wanted to follow it. So I immediately made a logo. I got an LLC, and my husband, the greatest part was he was just along for the ride. He's always been supportive. And so we've been laughing about it for 3 years now. Like, what are we doing? This is so funny.
Your husband sounds a little like mine, where so supportive, and also like, what are you, I don't know what you're doing, but just do it. Like, Cool.
Yes. That's a good man. That's a
Yes,
good man.
yes. Well, so you kind of hit on it. And I was wondering, I mean, being an artist, even if you're signed to a major label or a publishing deal as a writer, or if you have an infrastructure around you, you are not an employee of that company. You are still your own entity as an artist or a writer. And so there is an entrepreneurial spirit that goes with being a musician.
Yes.
And certainly an entrepreneurial spirit that goes with starting your own small business and doing your custom jewelry. So you kind of hit on it, but I mean, is that just in you? Is that part of your fabric, you think, just an entrepreneurial thing?
I do. I remember when I was an artist many years ago, when before social media was the way that it is now. I don't even want to. I don't want to age myself. I'm not going to talk about what we didn't have back then.
Right.
But I remember being in meetings and also just on the bus with vision for working with brands. Even prior to now, people are working with brands all the time. Yeah, it's a thing. I had ideas for, Wrangler, different brands. And I just remember thinking, okay, when I hit this certain point, I want to partner with them and create. And I had plans and ideas. And so it was funny. It was my mom who reminded me of that. When I started Haybelle, I was like, gosh, this is crazy that I'm doing this. She goes, it's actually not really that crazy. Because do you remember? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, I guess you're right. I was making plans, and I had a notebook that I would keep with all the things I wanted to do. And I even started beading my own guitar straps. I had this idea for this company that, so I got all this velvet fabric and I would hand bead designs on the fabric. And I put it in a box and put it up. And then there was a season, and I should have just run with this, when I had my first baby, Bella. Baby bags, they weren't wipeable from the inside. They were all fabric. And I thought someone should invent a bag that's all plastic inside that you can wipe out, because you spill all kinds of things that did not exist. And so I started trying to make one, and I sewed one and started working with it in a pad that you could roll out with the same fabric and the plastic. So yes, to answer your question, that's the long version. Yeah, deep inside, I'd always had these ideas. So it is interesting that it's something that I didn't know. Jewelry, I didn't know I had that in me. But so it's always been there.
I love that. And I love when you kind of describe that feeling of like, I wanted to wake up and research. And I mean, that is just one of my favorite feelings, just the fire in the belly, I mean, I love that. I'm glad you found it.
Me too. I love it.
Okay, so you're a busy wife, you're a mom, you're a friend, you're a musician, you are a writer, you're a business owner, you're a busy woman.
Yes.
We were just talking, like, our motherhood journeys are so different, even though we're around the same age, because you have teenagers. I just got started because I waited really long to get started. But
that's okay.
I mean, so we're in these completely different seasons of motherhood, but it's incredibly busy to wear all the hats. And so how are you finding balance, and is that even possible in your view?
Well, I think you find balance by being intentional and purposeful in your day-to-day activities. And, for me, I've really tried to be more present in the moment that I'm in, because I would find myself in a moment with my son, if we're in a hurry or he was asking me a question, but I know we have to be somewhere, I would rush him through that and not be present in what he was actually asking me. So I have to really stay present, because there are a lot of plates that I'm spinning. And so I need, with Bella, when we're talking, and then I have to be intentional about going into her room at night and sitting with her and having conversation, or intentional about dinner time. I really try to be very intentional about making a meal, and it's not always perfect. It might be tacos, but we are at the table together. And so balance, I think, comes with perspective and being intentional. So it doesn't mean that, I don't have bad days where I just think I've totally messed everything up, or I didn't get to that necklace that needed to be made today, and I have to pull back and not be so hard on myself, because I think that's when we start to chisel away at what it could lead to disappointment and lead to another day of feeling like a failure. So yes, it is possible to find balance by saying no to the things that you need to say no to,
Mm-hmm.
by being intentional and present. And, when I make lists, I mean, it's very simple.
Yeah.
Like, these are the things I'm going to do tomorrow, and not be hard on myself if I don't accomplish those things.
Yeah.
But I keep the main things there, which is dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
And my children, having time with them to look them in the eye and go, how are you doing? What's going on? So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. I to hear you talk about that, where I struggle is when I don't get to the things that I had planned for myself. And then you're right, it's just a spiral downward. Right. So yeah, it's tough, but it sounds like you've got a great perspective on it.
I'm trying.
So you and your husband, DJ, have been together for, did I see maybe 20 years?
20 years in May. We've been married.
Oh my goodness. Married 20 years. Wow.
Married 20 years. We actually met in September, and then we're married in May. So we really didn't even date that long. Yeah. So really 20 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, so you're both busy people. We just talked about all the hats that you wear, and I'm sure he wears hats as well. And you've been together quite a while. So any secrets to success that you could share to healthy relationship, to marriage?
Well, I always tell people that are dating or newly engaged, or, even my daughter, marriage is hard enough with the right person. So you want to get that right. I don't know the answer to getting it right. I know that for me, I knew when I met him, I saw him, but later that evening, I knew I was going to marry him the day I met him. And I kind of pushed that away because I was busy with my career. We met in the industry. But I think for us, we are really good friends, and we really respect one another. And I think too, when you're married, one of the main objectives for us is that, and I don't think we do this unconsciously, but I think it's important, is to always be bettering yourself. You know what I mean?
Like in your individual spaces.
In your individual spaces. And also creating time for one another, quality time. And for us, our faith is really important to us. We're not religious people, but we love God. And so we put that first. And I think that sets the tone sometimes. And I know for us it does, but obviously we're not perfect. Sometimes I do not like him. I'm just being honest. Sometimes he doesn't like me. Yeah. But I love him more now than I ever have in my life, because we just really put the effort into creating space for one another and encouraging one another. And just really, we have the same common goal, and I think sometimes couples get really busy and things just start to, they drift apart, or, things get in the way of marriage, finances or job change, or, one wants one thing and one wants another thing, or the kids, and I just think our world puts so much pressure on stuff that you just have to kind of block the world out sometimes and center yourself and just, so I don't know.
It's a tricky dance because there's so many seasons in life.
Yes.
And so I don't know about your relationship, but I know with ours, I mean, it's just like, sometimes it's easy to feel connected and sometimes it's not easy, and you have to put the work in, just because life gets so busy.
Yeah, that is totally true. And the seasons are true. I mean, we've been through so many seasons, especially with our children, especially in the beginning of my career. We met in the industry, we worked together in the industry, and then we were married, and then I pulled out of the industry. So we've been through a lot that I think most couples maybe experience over the years. At the beginning of our marriage, we went through some really not hard things between he and I, but life. Yeah. So
yeah. What is your definition of success now today?
Oh gosh. Well, success is, right, setting a goal or having a vision and something you want to accomplish, and then doing that thing and accomplishing that goal. And I think, and the world sets us up with standards that are like, if you get a lot of likes, if you get a lot of followers, if you're got the big house or all the perfect cars or the best clothes, awards, accolades, all the things. And yes, that can be success. It is success. And it can be a good thing. It can also not be a good thing. And so, yes, with Haybelle, the jewelry company, I want to be a household name. I want to grow that business. I have other products in mind that I want to, develop and, go into manufacturing, all those things. I want that to be successful. I want, great things for my children. But ultimately, for me, where I am in my life and what we've walked through, success for me is looking at my children and knowing they're confident in who they are. Mm-hmm. They know their purpose, their destiny, that they're loved, that no matter what, we will always be by their side. Mm-hmm. And just watching them fly in their lives. And then my marriage just to continue to blossom and that we can together be a part of their lives. And so I think true success is, for me at this stage, just one's about to leave the nest, just watching her fly. Like I can already see it in her, just her confidence, knowing who she is. And I'm just so proud of her and him. And that's success, just
raising good people.
Good people. Yes.
Yeah. I'm always wondering if I'm doing it right.
You're doing a great job. You are.
But I can't even imagine fast forwarding, what would, mine's 2.5. So whatever that is, 14, 15 years to that stage. So I know that's got to be an exciting
It is. It's hard and it's exciting. And then you start to go, gosh, I made so many mistakes and I hope I didn't mess her up. But man, when you, like you said, when you're sitting with your child and you're having conversation about life and, what they believe and their goals and their vision, you're like, wow. And then my husband and I'll talk and I'm like, we did a good thing. Yeah. She's pretty good. She's stable. I feel good about sending her out.
That's great. So, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit just to some girl talk here.
Okay.
Some favorite products. Like, what can you not live without? And it could be kitchen, music gear, jewelry stuff, beauty products. Like, what are you loving?
Well, I cannot live without dry shampoo.
Okay. Is there a brand that you're kind of loyal to?
No. I have a few that I like, but honestly, just dry shampoo, because with all the plates that I do spin and how busy we all are, I just love a good dry shampoo.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to wash my hair.
I hear it's a chore in itself. I hear you.
It's a lot. I have to plan. Like, okay, I'm washing it Thursday, so I'll get up early.
Yeah.
Let's see, skincare. I use a lot of different things. There's a company that I've actually talked about on my Instagram, so I don't want to be like pushing this product, but
I'm not sponsored, at least by me.
It's not, but I believe in it. Yeah. I've been using it for a really long time. I found it when I was an artist.
Okay.
One of the makeup artists I was working with said, have you ever heard of this company? And I started using their products. Well, I'm back in. And,
what is it?
Okay, so the name of the company is makeupartistchoice.com.
Okay,
so I've talked to them. The daughter, her mother owns the company. The daughter's like, my mom came up with that just because she had to back in the day. She was a makeup artist in LA, right? So she's like, it's such a long, but all that to say, they've been developing anti-aging skincare. And so I use their glycolic serum and their hyaluronic serum and several other things. And I've talked about it on my Instagram. So there's a lot there about that. And I'm going to be talking more. We were talking earlier about that because I keep getting asked about, aging. And nobody wants to age, right? Or at least try to help, like, what you got. So I love skincare. And I'm a product junkie. So I will be the one that buys, like, the latest eye cream or, whatever. So skincare, dry shampoo, a good lint brush. I love lint brushes. I think we have them in every bathroom. I don't know why that is. Let's see what else. I was trying to think of something that would be interesting to other people that's just odd.
Yeah.
Let's see. I didn't think about this. I don't know. I have a lot of things that, on a daily basis.
Makes your world tick.
Yeah. A good hairbrush.
Yeah, that's great. I want to check out the skincare for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You don't need it yet. You still have beautiful. You're not. She's so
likewise. Okay, so last question I ask all my guests. If it were all gone tomorrow, which is kind of funny because you've purposefully pivoted away from some of the things that were mainstays in your life. So you already kind of know what this is about. But if it were all gone tomorrow, if My World hadn't gone gold, if there were no number one single, if there was no Gary Allan cut, if there was no Haybelle, if there is no songwriting, what do you want to leave behind? What do you want people to know?
Well, I think it's really important that, you know, what I want people to know, and I think anybody that's close to me knows this, that my faith is an integral part of my life.
Mm.
That I want people to know that, or at least feel that I've listened to them, that I've loved on them, that I've prayed for them if they needed prayer, that I've encouraged them, um, that, you know, that I really walk what I talk about, that I was a good mama, and that, you know, the legacy that I leave to my children, or the inheritance, not only maybe an inheritance financially, which is something we all want to try to do, but it's a spiritual inheritance, an inheritance that they were loved, they were seen, they were built up, you know, the things that really matter, that when people look at my husband and I, they see love, they see an example of just a marriage that has been inspiring, even though it's not been perfect. Just, you know, you're right. I have walked in some hard places in my life, some of it by choosing myself. I don't blame anybody for anything. I did. I stepped away from the industry on purpose. And, you know, during that season, it was really hard to try to find my identity again, because it was so wrapped up in something that was a part of who I was. And so, yeah, that's what I would want.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And I think that, you know, anytime any of us walk away from something difficult like that and make that hard choice, we're walking towards something else, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's opening. I think that decision was really brave because it was so hard. I mean, and we've both been major label recording artists, so we know what that life is kind of like. And it's, you do get wrapped up so much in it. I mean, your identity is so wrapped up. So I know that had to have been such a difficult decision and a really brave one to make. And then you walk towards all this other wonderful, fulfilling, you know, stuff in your life.
Yeah.
The relationships in your family and in your life that you've chosen to make and put priority. And now here you are with this beautiful new business and, you know, new music on the way. And so I think it's great. I've so enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for being my guest.
Well, thank you for having me. I've loved this. And you're so
good.
Sweet to say all those great things. Yeah, I'm excited about the future and what's ahead. And, you know, I know we were talking earlier about just encouraging other women, you know, that are moms or that have a dream, or they feel like there's something there, but then they feel like it might be too hard, or they're too old, or their kids are too little, or whatever the reason. Like, I'm all about, like, jump in, do the thing, you know, and do it with intention, and also making that balance for yourself, because I'm actually living that right now. Jewelry, I thought was a hobby, now is turning into so much more, and I never imagined this would happen. So, you know, you just never know.
Yeah. Life's a wild ride.
It is
a wild ride. Awesome. Cyndi, thank you so much for being here. Thank you all for tuning in. You can find Cyndi on Instagram. Is that the best place?
Yeah, the best place for now. Yeah.
Cyndi Thomson?
Yes.
Cyndi Thomson. And also, I'll put it in show notes as well. And also Haybelle Co, which is her custom jewelry business. And you want to check out those pieces. She's wearing some of them now, and they are stunning. So that will be in show notes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, that was so much fun. I wish I could talk to my guests for hours. If you want more from the Happiest Hour too, make sure you head over to laurenlucas.com/happiest hour for the show notes, recipes, and products mentioned in the episodes. And you can learn how to access Happiest Hour bonus content. Oh, and if you're looking for a way to make true and authentic connections with other people who are music lovers, who want to carry on the conversations that are started on the Happiest Hour episodes, and who are friendly and supportive, join my exclusive online community. It's absolutely free, and we would love to have you. I run fan contests there from time to time. I do free live stream concerts. The link is waiting for you at laurenlucas.com/happiest hour. Until next time.